moving forward on the Skiff build, I've got the fiberglass tape cut out, ready for making the thickened fiberglass or thickened epoxy and putting those on the joints for this base of the seat. I didn't record video of this process, but here's the finished product with, you can see the fillet joints with the fiberglass tape in epoxy on all the seat area of the, what they call the tank on this Chesapeake Lake craft peeler skiff. Here's a view looking forward. You can see all the joints. And if you look where I've got this arrow, you can see where I've got the wire tying it into station 3. Here's the first test fit of the seat, and I actually had to call Chesapeake Lakecraft in Annapolis, Maryland on this because the seat is about an inch wider than the space where it should rest, and so you can see on the left here it's kind of canted up, and I had to call them to make sure that this wasn't some kind of error on my part, and I had to fix that. So I've encountered the first problem with this CLC peeler skiff kit in that the seat is, when put together, is wider than the hull. And I measured here across at bulkhead number 2 and here across at bulkhead number 3. And at bulkhead number 3, the seat is 1.5 inches wider than the hull. And bulkhead number 2, it's 1 inch wider. So I'm going to need to trim a differing amount down the length of both sides in order to get this seat to fit flat. Because right now it's held up probably about 2 inches above where it needs to go on this side. It's down mostly on that side, but it'll still need to go over that direction. So I need to take off an even amount on both sides. And that's going to be a little bit of a pain. You'd expect the CLC kit to be closer than having to cut off 3/4 of an inch on either side. So I first take a pencil and try and mark how much to take off on both sides here. So just using a cedar shim and a pencil to get about the right amount to take off. Mark that out, and I've chosen to use a skill saw to take the first large amount off here. So you see me grab my battery and skill saw, go ahead and cut off a little bit, and after the skill saw, I'm going to go and grab my random orbit sander with an 80 grit pad on it and try and sand it to the same bevel as the hull. I also grab my block plane to try and make it smoother across the bevel here on the plywood seat. Okay, so I've taken some off of each side, and I beveled this seat to the same angle as the hull, and it's almost fitting. It's not quite here, but it needs to go that way a little bit. And I also need to take off a little bit more of these corners for the fillets. And I've marked, and also right along here, need to mark the pencil line, need to take off just a little bit more on this side. And again, take off just right at these fillets so that it fits in there. And same thing on this side, so it fits in there. Other than that, it's a pretty good fit. It's down on that side, and it's still up, a good ½ inch on this side. So I think with those adjustments, I can get it to fit. Okay, so after trimming the second time, the seat is in, it is down, and looks pretty good from here. It's touching all the way around. Probably didn't need to take off as much here on the aft area, but that will get replaced or filled with a fillet of thickened epoxy and tape. The whole seat will get that. First, though, I need to take these seats off again, that and the bow, the aft and the bow, and then I need to paint inside of both of these compartments with thickened or unthicked epoxy, 2 coats, and then it gets filled with foam for flotation, and then that will get sealed in airtight with thickened epoxy joints and fiberglass tape over all these joints to make it so those are watertight compartments and flotation in case of swamping. And that's the next steps on the boat.